I was going to school for architecture and thinking that was the direction that my creative path would take me.
Right.
And just realizing just wasn't for me. So putting that to the side and just getting caught up in building a life and having work. And it wasn't until I had 2 kids later, and I think just being a man in the sense of now we are providers, now we are caretakers, and just having the world on your shoulders, for lack of better explanation. I wanted to express myself.
Right.
I wanted to, there was something inside that was brewing, and I had been putting it to the side and I've been ignoring it. And I was just like, I just want to paint. I just want to paint. I don't know why. I just have to answer this itch, this.
I love that so much.
Yeah. And so that's how I started.
Every fruit on the tree started out with a seed. So dare to believe the impossible is possible. So your deepest dream, grow your truest dream, bloom your freest dream with me.
Welcome to the Artist Bridge to Abundance podcast. I am your host, Michele Renee Stone, and today we're talking to Tony Adams, a local artist, and learning all about him and what he creates here in the world.
How you doing? My name is Tony Adams. Like Michelle said, I'm a local artist here in the Tampa Bay St. Pete area. I'm an intuitive painter, which kind of interesting to explain, but it's really just really creating for the soul and from the soul. So no rhyme or reason. I just kind of let it flow. I just started painting, and I signed up for a beginner painting class, which never happened. But I signed up for this beginner painting class, and they had called me and was like, hey, the beginner painting class is canceled, but we have this intuitive painting class that we think you'd be fine in. And I'm like, no, I don't know anything about painting.
Yeah.
That sounds really advanced. I just want to know some basics. And
like,
no, just take this class. And so I show up to this class, and this part of the journey really is just saying yes and just showing up. And I think just answering the call and just figuring it out. So I show up to this class, and I'm the youngest guy in the room. It's a Thursday morning. And they're looking at me, and this lady walks up to me, the teacher, and she's like, hey, I think you're supposed to be here. And I'm like, okay. So through the class, it was an intuitive class, which was very interesting, but I think it was exactly what I needed. Yeah. And it was exactly where I was supposed to be, like she said. And I learned through the class, to paint intuitively, I guess, just kind of learning to follow that instinct. And just, we would have different classes where we'd paint blindfolded or paint to different music or paint to different lighting, right? And really the idea behind that was just to forget about what you're trying to paint.
Right.
And just let loose. So realistically, I was like, oh, wow, this was the class for me. This was where I was supposed to be, because I was looking for that release, but also that connection of creativity. And so I found that through there. And then, of course, COVID came and shut everything down, but it wasn't the end of the story. For me, it was almost like a bird leaving the nest. It's like, okay, you've learned some things.
Right. Now
Trust yourself and go out into the world. It took some friends of mine to say, hey, this is good, show it. This is good, show it. And I'm like, I just do it for myself.
Right.
And so thank you to those people. I put it out there, and then people were receiving it well. And so it just gave me the realization and the confirmation that I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I am walking that path, and it was a great idea to answer that call, that internal pull.
Yeah, that internal pull. That's the way I describe it too. I've been calling it a kite cord recently, because you know how like kites are kind of forward and they're up, right? They're higher than we are, and it pulls you. But sometimes it pulls you to the left, sometimes it pulls you to the right, but it pulls you forward. Like a kite never goes behind you. Right? And so that's what I call it, the kite cord, where it's just like, it's pulling you in the direction. That's what this podcast is actually all about. Okay. Is having conversations like what you and I are doing right now, and putting that out into the world so that emerging artists can hear what we're saying, and people who are on the verge of getting this call, this intuition. I call them intuitive hits. Yeah. But this intuition to follow my gut to maybe a studio, to take a class, to do this, to do that. And you saying that you did that, and you went blindly into an intuitive class and just
And it doesn't stop.
no.
It continues. And
Yeah.
even coming here to the podcast, it's just like, okay, I've not done that. Let's do it. We'll figure it out. And I feel like in all those situations, whether it's going to your first art show, whether it's going to showing it to your friends and family, all those steps forward will take us where we need to go. Yeah, it doesn't stop. It's still scary every step of the way, every show I go to.
Well, and introducing yourself to new people,
Yeah.
and trying to figure out what their work is all about, and then sharing your work with them. And the act of being an artist is being vulnerable in and of itself.
Yeah, which takes so much courage.
Yeah.
And it's a practice. But I think when you see the bright spots in those things, meet those people, you start to find your tribe of friends. I'm happy to this day to have beautiful friends who are artists and creators who I would not have had in my life had I not gone down this particular journey. So, yeah, I encourage everybody to listen to that pull and move forward, no matter age or situation. It will be those small steps, and they all add up to part of your story, I think. I don't think there's any necessarily end goal, or sure, we have goals that we want to reach, but you start answering what's for your soul. It's forever.
Right.
There's no end goal. It's just enjoying. At some point, it's just enjoying the ride, so to speak. Just enjoying the flow of it and all the things that come with it, in and out.
Well, and our community is so great. Like, we think in a different way than everyone else. And it's creating that tribe, like you said earlier, of people that we connect with, that we can have conversations with and ask. A lot of my feed is other artists asking questions about art, or I have this show here, I've got that show there. Someone earlier today asked a question about what would you use to add texture to your painting? And there were 53 answers there. And so people, oh, well, I use this, I use that, I recommend this, I recommend that. It's a beautiful community that really supports one another.
Yeah, there's really no right or wrong answer.
Right.
It's just really what it's going to pull to. So I try it all. But the community, I would say I've been blessed that the community and the people that I've met in Tampa, St. Pete, in this Bay Area has just been very welcoming and very willing to teach and willing to give knowledge and willing to accept and encourage. So that's been my experience. There's just been a lot of love with the art community and all the different artists that are involved. Right. And it's more of a championing, because I think our story is bigger, right? We're not for the individual, we're for the movement itself.
Right.
Yeah, and so I think we all have that same vision of this is for the art movement. It's just for putting our stamp on the map and saying this area is full of creatives and full of love and friendships. The story is much bigger than individual. So I think that's where the community really understands that, and we all have that kind of same vision. So thank you, art community in Tampa area.
Tampa, St. Pete, absolutely.
Love you guys.
Well, and on that note, you're actually originally from the Bronx, right?
Yeah, I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
Yeah, and I grew up there till about the age of 10. And that's just something that will always stick with me.
Yeah.
It's a part of me. It's something that I can't forget. Now, I've been far removed. I still have family there, but it's something that is just always with me. I tell people, it's like I knew about graffiti artists and graffiti before I knew of Dali and Picasso. I was so much more interested in writings and the tags and the spray can techniques and everything like that. I'm a huge hip hop head, being born in the Bronx in the 80s. The hip hop movement was booming. So yeah, I hold on to those things and I add them in my paintings, and I make sure that there's always notes of that. Because my paintings are essentially pieces of me. Right. Yeah, and so I add that in. A little bit of edge to it all. But yeah, that's where I think I tap into a lot of that culture. And being a hip hop head, listening to hip hop, the rappers are poets in my mind. And so when I'm listening to them, I'm listening to poetry, and I'm converting that. I listen to a lot of it while I'm painting, and I convert that into the paintings and the music, and that transfer that energy. So it's just this big transfer of energy. I'm getting it from the music, and I'm feeling it, and I'm putting it back on a painting. Right. Now it's visual, audio. It's everything. So it's It's a beautiful way to create for me.
Right. It's, and it shows. Your work is, you can look at it. I'm also from New York, but I'm from upstate. And so I know that there's always been this thing between people from the city and upstate that I know somebody who's like, oh, you're from Canada. And I'm like, no, but yes. But there's an affinity that we have for New York, for whatever part that always kind of sticks with us. You put a lot of the Roman numeral number 10
Yes.
in your paintings. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the X, it's also in Art X Tony, Art by Tony. So the X, for me, several things, right? Being born in the Bronx, a lot of times we say we're from the X, so we definitely put up the X for the Bronx.
Okay.
Yeah, and then also my birthday is October 10th, so that double 10 plays a lot. And so a lot of times when I'm just tagging and graffiti, it's so much easier just to swipe a couple of X's on there, and that's a way of saying I was here, I was present, I'm in it. And I'm just putting myself in those paintings when I do that. So a lot of times you'll see an X or double X, usually double X next to each other. That's what I'm referencing. It's just a little nod to myself and where I'm from and why we're here. I think it's part of just never forgetting of how far you've come, where we come from, where we are today, and just counting those blessings and just really paying homage to that, because it's so important to never forget that, I think.
Yeah, it's absolutely important to remember where we started. I have a painting of something that I drew when I was 5. And so I often think of people asking me, how long have you been an artist?
Right.
Like my entire life.
Yeah.
My whole life. And it was funny, I look at it, and typically children who are 5 years old, it's a winter scene in New York, snow, and you have a house, and on one side, me, a driveway, and then a tree on the other side. But usually at that age, the chimneys would be angled or whatever. Mine were all straight up, and I'm like, oh, it's interesting. But to know where you come from and to pay homage to that, I think is really important. And it keeps us humbled too, because
I think so too, yeah. It definitely keeps us humble, keeps me grounded. And it actually keeps me in the space of feeling blessed. When you're always like, man, maybe I'm not feeling where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
You can always look back and remember where you were.
the started. Yeah.
Remember where you were, remember where that kid was, and you're doing amazing. It's great. It's great to see that. And when I see them hanging up in galleries or in public spaces, or I'm sharing it, I can see the double X's and I can say, there's that Bronx kid, hanging up for all to see. And so it means so much deeper to me. A lot of people see the X's, but for me, it's way deeper than that. And a lot of my markings and paintings are that. My paintings, being intuitive, essentially are like journals,
Yes.
They're just journals in my life, just me looking back and me growing from them and me growing from experiences. And even the paintings themselves will change. They'll start one way, and as I'm growing through this particular emotion, maybe I flip it around and it's something else, and I just carry the energy through. So, it's all, for me anyway, the art is all very personal, very much soul purging and journaling and everything else,
You talk a lot about how you always have the artistic, like the thread of art is, the creative spirit is constantly coming through you. Have you ever had a moment where you've been stuck or you had a dry spot? And if so, how did you get through that?
Yeah, all the time we get maybe some imposter syndrome. Maybe we have just this, I don't know what creativity to come next.
Right.
I think how I've gone through that is really going back into my community of friends and just really saying, hey, maybe I'm stuck right now, but I'll go to my friends' show and I'm going to show them some support and I'm going to cheer them on, and it's their time now, know. And then we get back into the creative process, I think, by seeing things, having different conversations with people, maybe a certain color someone brings up that I didn't think of, and it can be that simple. And be like, oh man, you know what? Maybe that color was exactly what I was looking for.
Right.
Or maybe I'll try this. And then you just try something. I think just, again, not being afraid to fall and just move forward and fall forward gets you out of the rut. But I would say, for me, I go back into my community of friends. Yeah. Go to their shows, see what they're up to, hang out in their studio, have conversations, and usually you'll come back. Or look at your past stuff too. There's times I just feel down and you look at your stuff and you go, you know what though, look at how much you've accomplished, and let that not discourage you. The pendulum swings.
Right. Right.
for everybody. So I expect there to be down days. I've come to know, okay, I'm feeling up, enjoy this. Are the down days, but are they really down days? They're not down, right? They're just rest days. Just some days we just need to rest.
I have a sculptor friend of mine, and she and I are both, as artists, we're always going a mile a minute. And when we talk about those particular moments, like when we have a down day, then it's the universe catching up with us because we're always moving so fast and we always have so much on our plate that it's a way for everything to kind of catch up and then us to take a breath and not to be afraid of those moments, but to embrace them and to utilize them.
100%. And I've grown from them. There's so many times where you have a down period, but out of that period comes something greater, and then you're just like on to the next level. Right. You're right. It just needs to marinate. Things just need to catch up. Yeah. And then it supports you enough to be like, boom, we're on to the next stage and the next creativity and the next series and all of that comes. Yeah. So yeah, take the down days, take the rest days. I think the mental health days are important, right? Because we do go a mile a minute and we do say yes to a lot of things. We should probably can show some of our yeses.
We can say no on occasion.
It's okay to say no. Right. And so we say yes and we show up and it's all fun, but burnout is real.
Yeah.
Burnout can be real. So find that peace, I would say. Find a peace for you.
What has been your greatest experience as an artist?
Oh, man. Honestly, nothing like a particular show or selling any particular piece. Yeah. My greatest experience really is watching the art move people. I think watching the art, when people come to me and tell me, wow, this really moves me, or this is beautiful, please keep going, or they want to give me blessings, or they're like, can I give you a hug? That to me is probably the most rewarding thing ever, because I literally am taking nothing, as all artists know, take nothing and we create something. Right. And to create something and put it on a wall and have someone come back and really feel it and communicate with you, I'm just blown away by that magic. I'm just like, wow, this is awesome. This is why I'm doing this. Monetary value will come, but I'm becoming so rich by connecting with these people and strangers. You know, it's not just friends and family. It's complete strangers that have never met before will see a piece of work and say, dude, I feel this, or explain this to me, or if I explain it and they can tear up and say, wow, this is beautiful. So for me, that human connection, when I'm creating it, I know it's going to be to communicate with somebody. Right. I don't know who or where or when, but I believe that it's for somebody. Yeah, that to me is the most beautiful part and rewarding.
Yeah, it is for me too. And it's because we take our heart and soul and we pour it into the canvas or onto the canvas. Sometimes I'll sew things into my canvas. We're putting our energy into that piece. And so as a curator, every time I change a show, the entire energy of that particular gallery changes. And sometimes once I'm done with the show, I just have to kind of sit there and soak it up, because especially with the themed shows, and you know that some people created pieces just specifically for that theme, and so they were taking that idea and just really purging it, homing in on that in their own particular style, and that kind of energy is expounded in the gallery space.
I love that. Yeah, and it does change the energy. And I love that, taking the theme or whatever it is and being considerate and seeing how many different variations of something you can have, right? Right. You can say, hey guys, paint me some monkeys, and every monkey will be completely different.
Absolutely.
And an array of color palettes, and just, it's beautiful. So yeah, those are great moments and times.
I was part of a pink show in January, so for 31 days, everyone who was part of the show had to paint something that had pink in it. Okay. And it started up to have, I think, 36 different people. It ended up at 12, but everyone's own version of what that pink was. Sometimes it was just a pink nose on an animal, or sometimes there was this one person who had this pink, it was like a little pink puppet that they used in every single one of them. So it was just taking the different themes and seeing what different artists, because we all have our own perspective. Right. And our own experience and our own life that we're channeling into that artwork.
Yeah, and through lessons in life, right? Everything is just a form of perspective. And
Right.
once you change your perspective, we can be negative and change perspective and change to positive.
Right.
Great practice for that.
Yeah.
Seeing everybody's different perspectives, seeing everybody's different art is like, okay, it's a great reminder of saying, hey, the world sees things differently.
Yeah.
So,
If you were to have a conversation with your younger self, the younger boy who lived in the Bronx, who never knew that you would be living here in the Tampa Bay area and be an artist, what would you say to him?
oh man, that's a hard one. Only because it can get so emotional. You know, I think I tell him you're right. Yeah, I think I tell him you're right, and it's gonna be okay. Again, it's just answering the call to something deeper. Like you just know, as a young person, that you are meant for something bigger, or maybe you knew you were. For me, I just had this internal. I can't put my finger on it, but I am meant for something bigger. I am meant to touch people. I am meant to communicate. I am meant to create beautiful things, and not quite putting my finger on it, but just knowing what I liked as a kid. Right? I liked art. I liked dance. I liked music, and not understanding as a kid where that would go, what that would lead to, or how you can, make that work. So even though he put it to the side and he was ignored,
Yeah.
the little kid was ignored. Once I finally answered the call, and you do that for that person, and you say, hey man, you were right. You were right all along. And I'm sorry we didn't start sooner, but let's go get, we're working towards it. But so it's a tough one, but I think that'd be it. And he probably still wouldn't understand what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah.
But I'd look at him and I'd say, yeah, man, you'll be all right, kid.
Keep
It's
following.
gonna work.
Yeah. Keep following that.
Yeah,
That.
you're not wrong. You're not crazy. You're all right. And we'll figure out a way. So.
Yeah. Yeah. When you made that shift as a parent to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to follow.
Yeah. And a lot of that was not just for me. It was for me, but to have kids and to look at them in their eyes and see myself.
Right.
And say, hey, I want you to be everything you want to be. I want you to do anything you want to do. I want you to succeed in life and follow your dreams and whatever's pulling you. But to not walk that path myself,
Yes.
that's a big deal for me. And I'm just like, okay, well, they're only going to hear half of what I'm saying.
Right.
Just as I did with my parents and anyone else. And so it's going to take for me to show them.
Right.
And so it takes for me to show them. And so, yeah, I pick up the paintbrush, paint at home, go to shows, show them. They get to see me develop. Whether they understand it now or 20 years from now,
Right.
I think they'll look back and they'll say, my dad was actually going for it. He was going for what he loved. He liked doing what he. And I think that I can show them and I can stand behind it. I can say, hey, man, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I will root for you. Go for it. Because those kind of things weren't necessarily supported. Being an artist is one of the hardest things to do, easiest things to do, right?
Right. Right. You follow your intuition
Yeah.
and you start creating, but there's so much more that goes along with this life.
Yeah.
The marketing aspect of it, the business aspect of it,
Yeah.
the pricing, the putting yourself out there.
It gets deep, it gets wild, and that's where we can't lose focus of that inner pool.
Right.
We can't lose that. We can't get so caught up in forgetting why we started it. And so for me, I will just always revert back to that, and those go back to my markings, and I write them more in a lot of my paintings. It is the middle name of my child. So I write love in my paintings because they all start with love, they all end with love, but it's always a reminder, again, just like the X's, it's just those little nods to me to say, hey, remember why we're doing this, remember why we started this. This is not to forget, it's just a blessing, it's just an homage. So yeah, I love doing it.
I love how you focus on paying homage, on remembering that it's a blessing, remembering that it's part of like your biggest calling
Yeah.
in every piece. Because there are artists that are out there, especially when different things come up and life changes and the world changes. Sometimes we get caught up in other emotions that are, let's say, a lower vibration than love, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And then want to express that way.
Yeah.
When ultimately we're here to really tap into those highest vibrations.
Right. And there are paintings that have that. There are paintings that are dark hair. There are paintings that have a lot of negative emotions. And I think it's important to capture those. Mm-hmm. And even in those, I'll still write the word love.
You'll write the word love, yeah.
Because I don't want it to be so dark that you're not understanding.
Right.
I think you have to understand the darkness to really appreciate the lightness.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I encourage getting them out. And sometimes you just got to get that energy out, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I get those energies out, and then I'll still write more on it or scratch it into the paint or something, because it's just, I want still love.
So at the end of the day, it's still love.
Yeah, it's still love here.
And I'll tell you, I've been known for ripping canvases apart, for stapling, for screwing things into, for carving. I have this one piece that's a assemblage that I caught on fire, very intentionally, just because I was having a moment and processing some really deep stuff. And then people look at it and they still feel that too. So the majority of my work that I put out now is filled with joy and honor and love and wonder. But there are some pieces that, like you said,
there's pain. And that's just your life. There's pain. There's times where you feel lonely. There's times where you're just so disappointed. There's just all kinds of things. And so as an artist, it's super important to put that out, because people do connect with that stuff.
Right.
Sometimes some of the most, what I feel are not the most deserving pieces, and I still bring it to a show, and people are like, that's the one, and that's the themselves. I'm like, what? You know.
Thank you very much.
But I created it in a moment of some emotion.
Right.
And so that's where I remember the magic, where it's like, it's for somebody somewhere, you just don't know who went. Mm-hmm. So it's still important to put that out there. It's still important to create it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And some of my darker pieces are the ones that sell versus the ones that I'm like, oh, this one for sure, you know.
Right.
That one just sticks around for a while.
And then you put them out there and people resonate with them. And going back to the energy, they have no idea why they're resonating with them. But yeah, I'm a firm believer that as artists, that whatever we have inside of us, it's our obligation, our responsibility to bring it out and put it out into the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think with each individual, they'll be creating their most beautiful work.
Right.
And doing so.
Yeah.
Their most authentic work. You know? And that's how it starts. We just keep on going. Keep on falling forward.
Keep on falling forward. So if you had any piece of advice for someone who is just starting out in their art career, or maybe even like mid-level, just at this place where like, what is next? What would you say to them?
Well, I think it depends on where they are, obviously where they are in their journey. Like, do they want to create a new series but I would say the best piece of advice would be to get involved with the local art community, because again, it's the conversations. It's the conversations and the different perspectives, and just being open, and those kind of conversations will crack something open as you have them, as you're creative. Bar 548 on Wednesday nights, like every Wednesday night, and artist Aurelius hosts it, but they have art meetup.
Okay.
And anyone can go and they can hang out, and there's a ton of different artists from all over the area, and they're having drinks and they're working on stuff, whether it's a little sketchbook, paintings, or just sharing ideas. It's a meetup for artists to just...
Wait, you in St. Pete?
Yeah, around on Central.
What is it called again?
It's at Bar 548.
Bar
548,
548, okay.
At 548. And they also have a monthly curation, which is free to artists to apply. And all the money goes free back to the artists. And it's just a cool way to get involved. But even just going to supporting another person's show on Instagram, or whether it's a group show, a single show, you go there and there are other artists there, and you will have conversations, and you will, I think, will help you, whether it's break through your next series, help you out of a rut, or just finding information on how to do something next. Tap into the local community, because at least here in Tampa Bay, it's phenomenal. And St. Pete as well. I say the Tampa Bay, but I mean
it's the
Bay area. Yeah, it's everybody's connected by a bridge. So.
By the yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. So awesome.
And show up, and that's all I say. Say yes to shows,
Yeah.
and just show up and have no expectations and just enjoy them. And just know for you, yourself, it's a journey. It's definitely no end goal, I think. Because even when you get to this top of the mountain, there's another mountain to climb.
And absolutely.
You know, so just enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey.
I think you said being open with no expectation. I think that's probably the biggest part. 'Cause I know
Yeah.
especially when you're starting off new, it's people want to have an end goal or an end product or an end, like some kind of a conversation or something.
And you'll never be 100% ready for something.
Yeah.
You'll never 100%. There's so many times I've planned for everything and still forgot something. Or
Right.
there's so many times I've gone forgetting a ton of stuff and I didn't need any of it. It worked out fine. There's times you go and you're like, oh, I'm totally going to sell these pieces. I've worked so hard on them and they look so great, and you don't sell anything. And then there's times where you just have no expectations and you sell everything. So there's no really real answer except for showing up.
Right.
Just showing up, do your best, and enjoy the people around you and the experience that you're having, because it's a blessing to be able to put your work up and share it with people, I think. So enjoy that.
Absolutely. Thank you ever so much, Tony.
Yeah,
for
you're
being
welcome.
here.
I hope I was able to help somebody and answer some questions and got to know me a little bit better.
Absolutely. Do you have anything coming up in the fall or?
Usually, yeah, so not necessarily yet. So a lot of things are called to artists, so we apply,
Right.
and then we wait till we get accepted and stuff like that. And then usually in the summer, it's a little bit slower.
Right.
There's a lot of shows coming up. I think there's supposed to be a big show in October. And I look forward to Gasparilla next year, but I've done Art Basel Miami several times, so I look forward to that. But yeah, I'll be doing a lot of local shows. You'll see me around town a little bit more. Now, please give me a follow at ArtXTony on Instagram. And you can also reach me at artxtony@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you came on. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you for having me.
Seed to flower, magic's in your hands. You got the power, so go forth and expand.
I'd like to thank St. Pete Arts Alliance for their individual grants and making this particular podcast and everything that goes along with it possible. I'm so incredibly grateful to you. Are you a working artist looking for your next festival opportunity? You're invited to apply at the 12th Annual Gulfport Fine Arts Festival, happening February 13th and 14th, 2027. Artists in all mediums are encouraged to apply for this juried boutique festival, featuring cash awards, marketing exposure, and direct access to collectors and art enthusiasts. Applications close July 31st. To learn more and apply, go to visitgulfportflorida.com. I'll see you there. If you like the podcast that you just saw, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click the little bell next to it, so then that way you're notified every time we load up another episode. Look forward to seeing you soon.